Hey everybody, CT Hippo here. It's still summer, it's still miserably hot, and I'm still dealing with it by getting in the lake whenever possible. And somehow, the lake still manages to surprise me. Today I was swimming at Blodel Donovan Park in Bellingham. Before it was a park, it was the site of the massive Blodel Donovan lumber mill, which operated from 1898 till 1945, at which point the land was donated to the city and became a popular destination. All of which means people have been dropping stuff in the water here for 120 years. During the mill's operations, logs would be cut on the shores of the lake and floated to the mill by tugboats. In addition to timber, boats also brought coal from the Blue Canyon coal mine to a railhead at the mill and served as a vital transportation link for settlers, loggers, and miners living in isolated communities around Lake Whatcom. Even after the construction of the Northern Pacific Railway line, these boats of the Mosquito Fleet continued to be important to the economy. When the logs arrived at the mill, they were stored in the lake in a holding area separated by pilings. Many of the massive logs simply sank before being fed to the mill and remained on the bottom, making swimming through this area treacherous at best. South of the log pond was the mill itself and the dock that served it. Here the bottom was littered with metal parts, including this massive broken gear, which must have been 3 to 4 feet across when intact. I literally did not recognize what it was the first time I swam past it. Nearby is a shaft, probably part of the belt drive system for the machinery in the mill. In addition to metal, the bottom is absolutely covered with discarded boards. It's very much like swimming over a scrapyard. Continuing south, we come to the dock that once served both the mill and the passenger trade on the lake. I'm not sure if this is the same dock as in the picture, but it's similar. The dock assembly is so large and shallow that it shows up on satellite imagery. It'll take another trip to even begin to explore the full extent of this artifact. My final goal for this trip was to get down to the point south of the park, where, according to a barely remembered hand-drawn map, I might find the wreck of the Marguerite. The Marguerite was one of the small passenger steamers that served the communities of Silver Beach, Park, and Blue Canyon before roads were built in the 1940s. She lived a fairly long life on the lake before she caught fire one night in 1924 and burned to the waterline. I had only a vague idea where she might be, but in talking with some local residents on the way out, I got a clue. They said there was a very dangerous underwater structure just off the point with lots of spikes sticking out of it. They didn't know what it was, but they said it was straight off of a patch of daffodils on the point. I swam a circuitous route along the shallows to the point, and then started working my way back up from the flowers and fairly quickly found the wreck. First thing I found is what I believe to be a propeller shaft. The prop has long since been salvaged, but the shape of the structure looks like a shaft packing, and it passes through what appears to be the keel. Traveling forwards, we come across some ribs joined to the keel with long steel spikes. The wreck lies on our port side, with only the keel and some of the port side planking remaining. The bow, which probably sat higher in the water and was therefore more exposed to the waves, is completely gone. This site is many things. Challenging, dangerous, scary, and yet filled with possibility. Visibility is terrible and sharp objects await at every turn. There's also a massive amount of history concealed under the waves here, just waiting for someone to explore it.